Alright, welcome to another addition to my sanctuary build. In this video, I'm fixing up the house that is directly in front of the player's home and turning it into a police station. Or like, the sheriff's office, which I believe are the same thing, kind of, right? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure, but in this video, they are. So I'm starting out with the floor. As always, I scrapped the foundation that was already here and am replacing it just like I did in my last video where I fixed up the player's home. I already lined up this floor piece the best that I could, and now I'm checking to see if there are any gaps between the floor and the wall. I didn't really show you the process of lining it up in my last video. All I did was talk about it, so I figured I would include it in this one. And look, there's a gap. Alright, so to fix that, I'm going to remove all of the floor pieces except for this one in the corner so that it's by itself. Then outside, I snap a floor piece to it and then a shack foundation to that. Now you remove the floor, so the shack foundation is by itself to where you can adjust it, and luckily for this one, it's just a small gap in the wall. Everything else is in line, so we just need to move the shack foundation up like an inch, or a hair, or a smidge. So now we get the floor piece and snap it back to the newly adjusted foundation. Get off my floor, Marcy! And then we go inside and snap this corner floor piece to the one outside, and it should be in the right position. Now, I'm sure you didn't see the floor move up right there, but it did. The video is just sped up and is only a slight change, so let's take a look to see if it's fixed. Alright, so now that the floor is in the correct position, I'm going to replace the floor pieces with foundations so the house is more grounded. You get it? Because the house was hovering before? Nah, I'll be right back. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you. I found a scrapping mod called Settlement Tweaks. It's amazing because you can scrap so much more stuff, including, look, you see how it says hammer animation? I wonder what that could be. I just scrapped it. Yeah, this is a way to get rid of all the annoying hammering. You can scrap actually any animations for your settlers that drive you crazy. So definitely check it out. I'll have a link to it in the description. Alright, so of course, after I went through the trouble of placing the floor down and lining it up with the walls of the house, I decided to scrap the walls. I did that because the inside walls were too messed up. They had like wires and stuff sticking out, and I couldn't get it to look the way that I wanted it to. So instead, I'm going to use the mod that I ported over to the Xbox called Pre-War and Post-War Sanctuary House Kit. Now, I tested this before I filmed it because I wanted to make sure that I can make the house look almost identical to the original, and surprisingly, it comes out looking just like it. It's a slight change on the inside, but even still, you couldn't tell that it was different unless you were comparing them side by side. So while this is going, time to talk about the idea I have for the build. Like I said, it's going to be a police station and sheriff's office. I figured this would be the best house for that since it's right in front of the general's house. And also there's a house next door to this one that is going to be, spoilers, Nick Valentine's new detective agency. Plus, it's right in the middle of the settlement, so I'm going to add in some offices, close off the garage, and build an armory in there, and also build a living area for the sheriff on top of the garage. Oh, and I'm going to build a jail between this house and the one next to it. All of which you will see fully decorated and completed at the end of the video. So as I continue to build that sanctuary, I'm going to turn all of these remaining houses into something. Like I still have to do a hotel, a hospital, things like that, which makes the most sense to me. Like I imagine they would fix up these houses and then turn them into something. So that's what I'm going to do, and then build around the houses, not so much up above them, except for a little bit here and there. Okay, so now time for the roof. I placed down an interior doorway to help line up the roof because the one that I'm wanting to use won't snap since it sticks too far into the original roof that I kept. So I have to use place anywhere. But all you have to do is grab a roof that you want and then line up the red lines. If one side sticks out before the other side does when lining things up, then obviously it's crooked. So the goal is to move it around until both sides are even. So if you pull the roof forward to where it sticks out through the doorway here and both sides show at the same time, then you know it's straight. Alright, so now that the roof is straight, I'm going to move it up more into the original roof. That way I know that there are no gaps, and to me it looks a little better because it's not sitting so low. Oh, and keep in mind, after I move it up and use place anywhere, I can't grab it again because the original roof is in the way. So that's why lining things up beforehand is important. So now I'm just going to snap the other roofs to it. Alright, roof is good. Now we're going to close off the garage. I didn't show me placing down the interior walls because they were very simple. They just snapped to the floors. So during the tour, you'll see how I place them down. I just wanted to save some time. Oh, and you can see in just a second that I moved the house doorway. I just thought it looked better facing the road, so nothing too major. Alright, so I used Place Anywhere to line up that smaller wall, and now I'm going to place down the rest. For these, you don't have to use Place Anywhere. It's just all about lining them up with the garage floor. Okay, almost done with this part. I know some of you will ask, but I got that metal doorway from the mod G2M Workshop. There's a lot of great objects in that mod, so if you have access to it, definitely check it out. The last thing to do is fill in the gaps. So I'm using a wood post and a warehouse post to cover up this spot. I chose those two because they're different textures from the metal and I think gives it a good contrast. And I just discovered this. You can use these flat wood walls and snap them to the inside of the metal walls to cover them up, make wall decorations easier to place down, and I think it just looks so much cleaner. Alright, so that was a very quick rundown of the foundation of this build. Obviously, it has been completely decorated, but I want to show you a couple of structures that you didn't see in the build. So out here, all I did was snap shack foundations to the inside floors and then put up some railings. It's very simple, nothing crazy right there. Same thing with the junk fences. With Workshop Rearranged and I believe Unlock Settlement objects, you can snap junk fences together, and that's all I did. I lined up one to the edge of the house and then snapped all these others together. It was really easy. Oh, and if you couldn't tell, this is the training area for the police station. I have a target practice spot and then some exercise equipment. I thought it came out pretty cool. Alright, so this whole area over here was also very easy. I placed down this floor first, and then I snapped all the other ones to it. Every single one that you see over here was snapped from this original one. And then I snapped some stairs to the smaller floor piece on the end, and then a small floor to the bottom of the stairs, and then snapped another set of stairs to the floor. All of that worked out so well. Like, I didn't have to line anything up, it just snapped together. The only thing that I lined up was that very first floor piece, but again, wasn't that bad. And then with the RV, all I did was just place it down using Place Anywhere. And the last thing that I want to point out is the jailhouse. Really simple. I just placed down 4 floors in a square and then used these brick walls and doorways from the Snappy Builds mod. So there was not much to it at all. Oh, and I almost forgot Marcy's new house. Right next to the jailhouse where she can live out the rest of her days. Grow old, you know, just happily ever after.
out or get lost.
Alright, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you. Give this video a like and hit that subscribe button for more content like this. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you soon.